Well, welcome to my channel. This is Discover Her Tarot, and I'm Jazzy, the light worker, light fluencer, specializing in shadow work and basically reveal what's been concealed in order for us to heal, uncovering those blockages so that we can be more aligned, and then also walk into our authentic truth unapologetically. So, I got this brand new mic that I have for like a year. And so I decided to give it a whirl now because I just want to make sure that you guys are hearing me clearly and concisely. So let's get into it and see what Spirit has to say. All right, so let's get into it. All right. So we're going to do a shadow spread that I have kind of created to figure out what the blockages are, what we need to know. I'm going to first start with like an overall energy card with an oracle card. Or what is it that I need to know? What is our spirit? Actually, they actually want me to pull from my deck that I always talk so much about. So they want me to start with this, actually. And when I say they, I mean my spirit team, my guides. What is emerging? Ooh, right away. Okay. All right. What's being released? Wow. And what's on the horizon? Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm like saying, well, I can't believe this right now. Okay. So what's emerging? You have the mirror. I don't know if you can see this card. Like my favorite deck so far. Um, the mirror is all about reflection, right? It's all about what you put out and getting back. So whatever you put out is what you're going to get back, like a boomerang. On the bottom of the card, it says, "World is a mirror. Notice patterns, clear blocks." Right. So this is what's emerging. What's emerging in us is actually taking a look at where we are and what needs to go. This is like taking a look at what's not working, what is not fitting in our world. Um, what areas do we need to be more healed? What areas are not aligned with where we're going, right? But then you also have, for what's being released, you literally have cleanse and release. So this is cleared blocks. Again, listen to your system, let the energy flow. So what's being released is basically, you have what's emerging is the things that are coming up. So these are things that are uncomfortable. These are things that you try to hide. These are things that trigger you. These things are coming up in the form of a mirror. So maybe there are people who are triggering you because there's an area that needs to be healed. That's why it's coming up. And then you have to cleanse and release. So this is actually seeing, like, once something comes up, now you're like, oh, I really don't like this, or oh, this really doesn't align with me, or oh, I didn't even know I was still holding on to whatever that is. And now this is the time to cleanse it. And the reason why you have to cleanse it is because you have the collective coming through, which means you're attracting what's more aligned with you. At the bottom of the deck, it says all is connected, collective growth, and supported. So this is like getting rid of things that don't align with you so that you actually are making room for what is in alignment with you. So, and then the very bottom of the deck, you have divine timing. So this is all about the divine timing. It says, trust the universe, follow the flow, patience, signs. So this is all about really growth and being triggered. Being triggered, but being triggered in a way that shows you where you need to do more healing is what I'm feeling. It's like where you have to do the healing work. So now they're telling me to pull. So the overall, like, there's gonna be two energies that are for this collective that are almost like overshadowing this collective. Yeah, friends. Look at this. Friends and colleagues. So this might be looking at your friend group. This could be looking at the people that you work with. It could be people that you share things with. Like maybe they're just not in alignment. And then let's see the other. Okay. Yeah, the honoring path. So your path might, wow, your path might be, it might be that the people, the friends, the colleagues, or whomever you're with, whether it was for a long period of time or a short period of time, or even if you've known them for a really, really long time, or whatever the case is, they may not be in alignment with where you're going. Your path may not align with the people that you've always known, or the people that you were friends with, or the people that, you know, it could be family. It doesn't have to be friends too. It could be close people, just friends, family, colleagues, because you're actually making room by releasing. So it's like you have to see the areas, you have to see, and it's, it may hurt, right? It may hurt, it may feel a way, it may make you question you. But ultimately, these things are arising because there's parts of you that have to be healed. And what I'm feeling too with this mirror, it's noticing patterns, because if you keep attracting the same type of person, or if you keep attracting the same type of relationship, or if you keep attracting the same, whatever that sameness is, guess what? You're putting something out and then you're getting it back. So if there's a pattern, like let's say you could have codependent patterns, right? Where you may foster friendships or relationships where they're very codependent. They don't even have value unless you're attached or merged to that particular group or friendship, right? If that is the case and that happens, guess what? Like, this moment is like a trigger for you to say, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I need to take time for me. What is it about me that's attaching myself or feels the need to have this type of connection? What is my root? What about me is attracting a connection or a situation with somebody where I feel like I have to be connected in this way? um, it's actually taking a look at the type of connections and how you're connecting to them, because that's also going to allow you to cleanse that and heal that and then release it, so that you make room for friendships that are supportive, friendships that are, or connections, not, you know, whatever the connection is, that it's supportive. If you have, like, a lot of times, most times you may have some trauma that has happened in a previous cycle or in a previous relationship, and now because of that cycle you're attracting what you know, because that's all you've seen, that's all you know. It's like, well, I've always done this, this is right. Or maybe I seen my parents do this and this is why I'm doing this. Or maybe I seen, you know, my mom and dad, or whatever the case, or my aunts or my grandmother or whomever, you know, in a past, that's why these things are happening. So it's really, it's just, it's so interesting that it's coming out, because, and it's the same type of energy, but it's very clear. This is a time for you to, what's emerging in you is these triggers. These triggers are happening because there's healing that has to happen. And you have to get to the root of where those patterns, those blocks are coming from, because those patterns are creating a block, which is preventing you from getting to this alignment when it comes to the supportive network or connection that you're looking for. And then at the bottom of this deck, you have victim mentality. So it's almost like this person's overflowing with emotions because they're drowning in these emotions. It's like, why is this always happening to me? Why can't I ever find somebody that's like this? Or why can't I ever have a connection like X? It's because this is mirroring. You're having this mirror moment so that you can actually cleanse it, so you don't live in this space, because your path doesn't align with whatever you've been attracting in the past. It's time for a change. Does that make sense? So, um, and then you have this divine timing card here, which is number 11 again. And if you look, you got double six. This is six here, six here. Six is like the number of, it's choice, right? It's also a number of like love and balance, harmony. And so when you're looking at that, you want to be mindful of the connections that you're making and why you're making those connections, because it could be something in you that's attracting that. So, all right, look at this. And then at the top of the deck, you have compassion for self and others. Soften your heart, be gentle, see the good. And I feel like this is for you more so than other people or other connections. I think this is like, because sometimes you have compassion for other people at the detriment of you. And that could be something that is why you attract certain connections. But this, I'm really getting energy of you needing to be compassionate with yourself as you go through the healing of why you're doing the things that you're doing, why you're attracting the connections, the situations, the people that you're connecting to. So that's what I'm feeling in that. So let's get into the tarot to see a little bit more in depth, um, so we can kind of have an idea. All right. You see, your girl is trying to look at this time because let me tell you, I'm not trying to have. I am so hyperverbal, so I like to make sure that you know I'm not keeping everybody for a long period of time because I can talk. Your girl can talk. Okay, very hyperverbal. Um, so let's get into this. Okay, so let's take a deep dive more into the shadow and figure out what's going on. Of course, they fall in all over. Okay, first card is the Empress in the reverse. And these cards are shuffled the way I like them to be shuffled. We got the Nine of Wands coming out in the reverse as well. Let me get this Empress card for 1 second. Okay. What is up with these cards? They're all coming out in the reverse. I'm just going to get all the cards first, and then we're going to go through them. What? I'm like, what is this? I know. Yeah, they're all upright. They're all coming out in the reverse. This is crazy. All right. What is this? Are you like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna like, I don't believe this. All right. Wow. Okay. So the first card that came out represents the past, right? So this is with the Empress in the reverse. This is really representing like not feeling, not loving yourself, like not nourishing yourself. I'll put it this way. I won't say you don't love yourself, but it's not nourishing you. And with all the cards coming out about that mirror, it's almost like what you put out, like I said, what you put out is what you get back. So if you are not loving yourself enough to keep yourself in situations that don't keep you at the forefront, then guess what? Your circumstances and your situations are going to come out in that same manner. So with this Empress card here, it's like you're not nourishing your garden. You're not nourishing you. You may be overgiving, right? You may be overgiving. You may be giving too much to other people that you're not pouring into yourself. This card is like maybe you don't feel, this also may mean like you don't feel beautiful. You may not feel pretty. You may not feel attractive. You may not feel your best self or your most feminine or beautiful self. It doesn't have to be feminine like a woman because there's a woman figure. It's just the energy of it. But you may have that feeling in the past. This may have been a past thing. So maybe in the past, you have attracted people, situations, or things where you overgave and you didn't love on you enough, where you were able to receive all the love that you actually put out, right? Your present state is that you have the Nine of Wands in the reverse. So the Nine of Wands in the reverse is really about the energy of it. Like when it's upright, it's like you're guarded. It's like you're guarded. You're still gonna push through, but you're a little bit guarded. In the reverse, it means you may be a little bit more open to receive, but you might be hesitant. It's like you want something different, but you're hesitant on how to get it. It's like you're based in and off the past almost. It's like um it's kind of like a past energy of like, I don't know if I trust this. The trust thing, right? Like it you don't want to repeat history. So it's almost this energy of like not wanting to trust a circumstance or whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a connection, a situation, whatever the case is, you're having trouble trusting it. Now, when it comes to the influences, your influences, it's like the lovers in the reverse. The lovers in the upright is all about choices. It's like having an alignment. It's like being aligned. It's all about um, at grassroots, like at the very basis of everything. It's kind of like the law of attraction. And so remember, we're talking about what you put out is what you get back, right? So in the reverse, it's really like a separation. Like you could have separated from somebody, or it could have been friendships or connections where you dissipated and you guys separated because there was discord, there was a misalignment. Or you made poor choices in the past that didn't factor you in, right? You made choices that didn't put you first. You made choices that you put everyone at the forefront of your needs. So therefore, you always came last. And so maybe you feel a way about that. What's blocking you with the obstacles is you have this Four of Pentacles. So it's like kind of, it's almost like being closed off, like being unavailable, like you're emotionally unavailable. So for the connections that you want to have, you may not be able to have them the way you want because, again, you're trying to receive, but what's blocking you is like that Four of Pentacles. It's like, I don't want to invest into this because I'm not sure if I invest in this that it's actually going to be positive, because everyone leaves. And maybe that's how you feel. Everybody who comes, they leave. So maybe you don't want to open up. It's like you want to because you really, your heart yearns for that type of connection, that companion, that depth. But maybe your past experiences have taught you that love leaves. And so I don't want to get close and I don't want to open up. I want to open up, but I don't. It's like that. I want to, but now I can't do that. So that's what's blocking you. And it's blocking you because of friendships, right? With this Three of Cups in the reverse, it's like in the upright, it's like you got something to celebrate, you're going out, you're doing the things. But in the reverse, it's like you don't have that companionship, you don't have that camaraderie, you don't have that collective. It's like you're like a lone wolf almost. It's like I'm like a loner. You're just like, I'm doing the things, I'm doing it by myself, and I don't really need anybody. Um, and that's the energy that I feel. And this is like other people's influences, right? Other people's influences, the Three of Cups in the reverse. So maybe people have betrayed you in the past, or maybe they weren't like, what I get from this is like, honestly, I feel a betrayal energy. I almost feel like people have used you for what you could do for them, and then they diss you once you can't do anything else, or once you're like, it's like a disposable friend. That's kind of what I feel from the Three of Cups. But it could just be that, like, or maybe you introduce, like, I'm getting this like third party friendship. Like, I know somebody who knows somebody, and then I introduced them and they became friends, and then they became friends and then kicked me out the group. Like, that's the energy that I feel. But it could be something like that where people just leave. People have just betrayed you. People have just have not been their best, their most genuine self when it comes to connections. And so it's one of those things. Also, also I get the energy that you could just not be aligned with doing the things that other people like to do. Like, you may be moving into a path where you don't want to do the same things and other people do want to do the same things. So maybe you have friends that always go out to the bar to drink and have fun or whatever, and you used to do it but now you don't want to. So now you're like, I'm that's not my thing anymore. Other people's influences kind of keep you in this space too, because it's like they're doing the same things and maybe you want more, but you're afraid of finding a new group that likes what you like to do because you're projecting a past experience onto where you're at now, if that makes sense. Um, so the suggested action with the Queen of Pentacles here in the reverse, again, like all these cards came in the reverse. Um, I feel like this is giving me like, I'm going to clarify all these cards as well. So just know that I will clarify them. Um, so the Queen of Pentacles is like, could be about the home space. You could have had like, you could have learned some of your patterns from a maternal figure. It could be like someone who could be jealous that's coming up. It could be that you have a maternal figure that again, maybe they took their lessons in life and then applied them to make sure that like you didn't experience those same things, but inadvertently it wasn't the most healthiest relationships. Is what I'm feeling. Like I feel like with this being in the reverse, it's almost like we have to be careful not to inherit past patterns or inherit things that don't fit or align with who we are. So it's almost like being mindful and being cautious. And I am going to clarify these cards, but I get the energy of like with this Queen of Pentacles here, it's like some of you could have maternal figures that, you know, they live vicariously through you. Like let's say I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to think of a situation. Okay, let's say that you have a maternal figure who always, um, they waited on their husband hand and foot. Like everything was about the husband. Like that's it. Like if my husband doesn't say this, then we can't do it. Like that kind of energy, right? Let's say that, and then you grow up and you're like, I don't want my life to revolve around my husband, or I don't want my life to revolve around whatever. I want to have my own separate life, but still be, together with somebody in a healthy relationship. But I want to have my own individual stuff, right? There's this codependency where maybe you start factoring in and start like inheriting that mindset that this is what I have to do because this is what I saw. And it affects how you move in your connections. It affects how you look at your relationships. It affects how you look at your connections with people or your interactions with workplace or so it's one of those energies where it's like you could be inheriting these patterns. And that's why that trigger, that mirror energy came out. Because remember, what you're seeing is really like you're putting out to the universe, and the universe is sending it all back to you. So this mirror and this trigger energy is really for you to look to see, okay, what 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 am I inheriting? What am I doing that's preventing me from having the things that I want or having the connections that I want with people? This is really about a connection here. And once you start getting to the root of why or how, what happens is the outcome is you start walking away from it, because the Eight of Cups is walking away. The Eight of Cups is like walking away from anything that's not fulfilled, anything that does not fill you up, light you up. It's like, okay, I don't even know where I'm going, but I'm getting out of here because this ain't it. And that's ultimately the outcome once you start looking at your blockages and what you've inherited. So let's take a look. I'm going to just clarify these cards so we can see more about the energy that is being presented, because the block is really like inheriting something that you've seen that now you have to figure out, and it's being triggered so that you can move, because you're signaling that you want more, but now you have to do the work to kind of find the root of where and why those things are happening. Why are you picking these connections? So let's just take a look, because at the bottom of the deck you have the moon. And the moon is like all about these hidden fears, hidden emotions, hidden blockages that you have that need to be resurfaced, right? They need to come out. And then so you have the Strength card coming out right after that, and the Ace of Wands. So it's like, yeah, this is really about having the strength to uncover some of these things so that you can actually emerge a transformed person, to attract the things that you want, so that you can stand on with this Nine of Pentacles and reserve your energy and give your energy to the people that you want to give your energy to, and have these healthy connections. Even here with the Star, like this is all about healing. This is all about healing and taking that time to kind of nourish you. So let's actually, I can't believe all these cards came out of the reverse. I'm like, oh, but I see. This is, I mean, this energy is really nice because it's actually very reflective, and it allows you to really take stock of like where you are and what work you have to do. And you have to have a starting point somewhere. So let's start with the Empress. Look at this. I'm about to clarify the Empress that's on the bottom of the deck. This is what you're emerging to, because I'm clarifying what's emerging. So you're shedding this, you're turning this into this. So this is like amazing, because You are, that's what's emerging. You having a newfound love of yourself, you nourishing you realizing you are beautiful, you are amazing. And that was a past narrative that was an illusion because you're not in that space anymore. That's so beautiful. Like, so beautiful. All right, let's clarify this Empress energy. Ace of Cups, falling in love with you, learning to nourish you. Like, this is really, really amazing because this is like, this is the past. This is what you didn't have, that love of self. But like, you're moving on from that energy. You're not in that space anymore. That's the past, right? The emerging part of you is really about being triggered enough to know, okay, this is what I need to do to move forward. This is how I'm moving forward. This is what I need to do to heal. I need to love on me more. What fills me up? Because I was filling everybody else up. Now it's my turn to fill me up. That's beautiful. Clarify this Nine of Wands. Yes, the Seven of Wands. Then putting the work in, understanding like, okay, so the present where you're at now is the Nine of Wands. And so you have this. This is what you're working towards. You're working really hard toward being more open to receive, being more receptive, not being so guarded, not being so afraid, not operating from fear, but rather being able to feel, right? And you have the Ten of Swords. So this could be at the bottom of the deck. And that's like the ending. That's like ending of something. Maybe you felt a betrayal in the past. And maybe it was betrayals in the past, right? Did different things. Maybe you was expending so much of yourself, you felt burnt out. You felt like, oh, I just can't do it anymore, you know? And people maybe didn't see it. Maybe the people, the group didn't see that you was like at your within, like, I can't give no more of me. And they were still asking, right? And look at the top of the deck. These are all like, it's insane to me. But that's the energy. Expending, 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 expending. And you're not loving and nourishing you. Clarify. Clarify this, lovers. So you've got the Lovers card here in the reverse, right? And these are the hidden influences. And then this is also the Seven of Cups is clarifying. So with the Seven of Cups is all about, it talks about confusion, being confused about which way to go. It talks about talks about a lot of things, but it could be that with this clarifying the Lovers, it's really this energy of like, I'm getting like, this is like confusing. This is like being confused about not knowing which path to take or who to trust. And the trust card is usually typically the Seven of Swords, where it's like you have a mistrust or someone's doing something sneaky. But this is really about alignment with your own choices because your hidden, this is a hidden influence. Your hidden influences, maybe people were betrayal or they left you in the past, right? Maybe they left you for other people. Maybe they left you for other things. Maybe they just weren't aligned. Maybe, and it's confusing you about if you can trust you. This is really a trust you and loving you type of energy, but finding the root cause of where it came from. And so this as a hidden influence, the Seven of Cups is clarifying this Lovers in the reverse because it's like, I'm confused if I can trust. I don't even know if I could trust myself to attract something that of what I want. So there's that energy of like not being sure, not being certain because it's just like I don't know. And then um and I'm looking here at this deck at the top of the deck because you have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is all about, you know, being comfortable, right? It could talk about the home space, it could. Um but it's really about like, it's like a celebration card. It's like a coming together card. It could be an engagement card, right? It could very well be an engagement card, halfway to marriage type of thing. Um, I also get an energy in a relationship type of way where like maybe you are wanting like a connection or a intimate relationship or a romantic relationship, but you don't trust it because you've been hurt before in the past. Again, with the Seven of Cups here with the Lovers, because you have the Lovers here, the Empress, the Ace of Cups, and then you have the Queen of Pentacles here and the King of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck, and then you have this Four of Wands. So it could just be that like when it comes to even in a relationship, you don't trust it. It's like you want love, but you don't trust it at the same time. And you don't trust it because you have this skewed perception that came from maybe childhood or growing up or wherever you've seen, or past experiences that have dictated this is how things are supposed to be because this is what you've seen. So it could be that as well. Let me clarify this four of, the Four of Pentacles. It's like the four of the Strength card is clarifying the Four of Pentacles, and the energy that I'm feeling is like not having the strength to like move forward and open up. It's, I almost get like taming it, your tame your tongue. Like that's what I'm feeling right now. It's almost like I get two energies. I get an energy where you are trying to find your voice when it comes to taming your emotions so that you're not so impulsive. But I also get, because this is clarifying the Four of Pentacles, it's almost like you want to open up and give so much of yourself, but at the same time you're like reserved. So it's like you're trying to temper, and temperance is usually that card for that. But I feel like with this, it's like a tame. It's like taming your inner like beast or your inner ego, or it's something about taming. I feel like this is like a tame energy, like where you're trying to tame your impulses because okay, maybe you're known to fall very easily for somebody. Let's say you in a relationship and you're known for like every time you have two one or two like great conversations, you're in. And there's this balance of like, okay, I want to get in because I want to like I love this person already and I just had one conversation. But then you're like, nope, every time we do this, this is what happens. But it's like, but what if this is different? It's like this weird pull energy that I feel. Um, yeah, it's like, and I feel like this is innately you, right? Because you have the Judgment card and you have the Ten of Pentacles also. So this is like something that came from your childhood. It's like you're battling something that you have witnessed. It's almost like, dang, I'm trying to capture the energy so I can explain it because I know it's really hard to explain. It's almost like trying to rid yourself of patterns, family patterns that you've noticed, that you've inherited, that you don't feel are aligned with who you are, but at the same time, it's what you know. So it's almost like you're battling what you've been taught versus what you feel innately. So you feel and you want to love and you want to give, but at the same time, you were taught this is how we operate and this is how it works. And you were doing the things according to how you were taught, but it was making you feel depleted, making you not feel good, making you not love yourself, making you not trust your decisions and the people that you surrounded yourself with. So now there's this really weird like internal battle about, do I follow what I feel even though there's no concrete proof that it's actually going to work, but it just feels different? Or is my gut feeling like playing tricks on me? Is this just me being impulsive because this is what I want and I'm being codependent? So there's a lot of this thinking about which way do I move and which feeling is what? Is this my intuition or is this anxiety? It's one of those things. Um, Clarify this Three of Cups. Okay, so we got the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so we have the Hierophant coming out in the Five of Pentacles, right? So this is basically like knowing because this Three of Cups that we're clarifying, right? The Three of Cups that we're clarifying is other people's influences. So if we're clarifying other people's influences, right? You have to lose some of these things. You know that you have to lose some of these friends because they didn't do you good. They didn't do you good. And so you're losing some of them, but you're gaining something more. So it's almost like in the upright, the Five of Pentacles is about loss. It's about, um, trying to find sanctuary. Maybe you're trying to find refuge in maybe you're trying to find refuge in the wrong places, right? But in the reverse, it's almost like shedding some of these people and shedding their, because remember, maybe they're doing things that you're not into anymore, right? So those influences are actually allowing you to learn and to almost attract a new group. It's almost like recovering a part of yourself where you actually are learning more about you and what you want, so that you can actually shine a light and say, I don't even do that anymore. And it may not mean that you're not friends with those people. It may not mean that you're not in a relationship with it. It just means that, mm, I don't know. Because whatever was lost is going to be recovered, but it's going to be recovered with a sense of understanding, of a higher sense of knowing. And that higher sense of knowing is for you. And that's why you have that Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the deck, because it's like things are starting to turn. And remember, we had divine timing. The Wheel of Fortune is all about divine timing. So this is that moment where that defining moment to figure out, what is it that I want? And what type of tribe do I want? What type of connections do I want? What type of community do I want? Um, wow. Okay. Clarify the Queen of Pentacles. So this is very straightforward, and so we can just kind of wrap this up. Wow. Okay. So I got same cards. We got the Nine of Wands. We got the Three of Swords. We got the King of Pentacles. So this could have been a mom and dad relationship that you may have seen or interacted or saw, or whatever the case is, where there was a lot of heartache. It was very challenging. It could have been very tumultuous. And this is what you're mirroring, right? This is what you see, this is what you know. So because this is what you see, this is what you know, this is what you're replicating in your world. And because you're replicating it in your world, you're now being triggered so that you can heal that, so that you have the strength to be able to say, no, you know what, this is not, I'm not doing this. Because watching this and seeing this, it's like you're literally getting the same energy. And so you have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles upright. This Queen of Pentacles may not have been, um, they may not have exuded maybe a healthy relationship, or healthy boundaries, or healthy standards, or maybe they were manipulative in a connection. And so you may inherit that, or you may inherit people that are like that, or relationships that are like that, because that may be your norm. And so you're kind of challenging the norm of what you know based on what you feel, because you know that's not the way. That's not how you get to this. The Ten of Cups is like happy ever after. This is like, I'm super fulfilled. I have a great family. I've got everything I ever wanted, And so with that there, it's like you're taking stock with this King of Swords to really analyze and think like, what is going on? What is going on? And how can I get out of this? How can I get out of this rut, or this pattern, or this block? So it requires you to actually sit and think through it, and assess what you want. This is taking assessment of what you want. Clarify this Eight of Cups. Yeah. So, yep, healing. Look at this. I'm like, look at this. Okay. So you have, it's like, okay, look at this. You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, outcome energy. This is so crazy. Like, the outcome energy is essentially you walking away. You walking away to find you, because you've had enough. You've had enough of the betrayal. You've had enough of not feeling fulfilled. You've had enough of perpetuating a cycle. It's time to heal and nourish and love on you. And it will cause some self sabotage a little bit, or a little bit of overthinking about if this is right, if this is not right. You may even ruffle feathers. If this was like a family dynamic and you're doing things against the grain, it may cause people to be in their head a little bit, because it's against whatever that conformity is, whatever that norm is, that may not be healthy. Just because it's a norm doesn't mean it's healthy. And so I feel like this is really about you taking stock of what's healthy for you. What do you want for you? Um, that's the energy that's coming through again with the Six of Cups. This is past energy. So this is something that, these are blockages that have come in from the past, and it could be just you're perpetuating a cycle. So you've seen unhealthy relationships, and now you're having these unhealthy relationships. And I feel like this energy requires you to analyze and stop and think about what it is that you what you want, what you truly want out of the connection, and what's going to fulfill you, right? It's not always about what you can do for others, but what can other people do for you as well, and shedding things, people, situations, when you've known them for a long time, can be hard and it can be painful to release it. So that's the energy that is coming through as you saw through the cards. I'm going to actually close out with my very own deck, which I'm so excited to work with. So let's see. Let's see. See what comes out. Yeah. Wow. So we have, and I don't know if you can see this, it says break conformity to regain clarity. So this is all about essentially breaking the norms so that you can find the balance of what it is that you want. And then it says lose yourself in the moment, not the lifetime. So basically, this is like lose yourself in moments, pockets of moments. Enjoy life in that moment. But it doesn't mean that you have to get caught up in your whole life doesn't have to be that, right? Life is a journey. So, you may get lost along the way. That's okay. It happens. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that, and I'm laughing because the next card I have is don't project fear onto your fate. You got that Wheel of Fortune. And so that means that you're destined to have connections as deep as you want them to be, or as fulfilling as you would love for them to be. So you don't want to project your fear of the past onto your fate of the future because there's so much life to be lived. Don't lose yourself in the moment and then project it onto your entire lifetime. Heal it now. So we'll pull one more, and then look at that. Don't force what doesn't fit. If it does not fit anymore, then release it. Release it and let it go. Okay. Um, that is just so amazing. And then you find your peace through the pain. So this is all about literally finding you and establishing what is fulfilling to and for you, and not perpetuating something that you inherited. Just because you inherit something doesn't mean you have to wear it. If someone gives you a jacket and it doesn't fit, you're not going to just force it on. It doesn't fit. Someone gives you shoes that don't fit, you're not going to be like, well, my mom gave me these shoes and I've always had them, but they don't fit and they hurt when you put them on. So you have to release it. You know what I mean? It's the same type of thing, although of course, when you're talking about situations, relationships, and things like that, yes, it is difficult because you have memories attached, you have feelings and emotions attached to these people, and you can still love the person and still detach from the situation or the circumstance so that it does not make it detrimental for you to live your life. So I hope that this resonates with somebody and that it makes sense to someone and is helpful. But I will end it and I will close it off here. Yeah, and I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you.